good to have Harry in the house, not just talking about North Melbourne and footy, but talking about health and fitness and well-being overall. And that's where we'll start. Harry, welcome back to you. Great to have you on.
Thanks, Dwayne. Good to be back on.
I've got to talk to you about coming back from Darwin, what it's been like for you, given how, well, I've played a dozen or so games in Darwin, so it's a different world up there. Have you played there previous to this? And
No,
how have you found it leading up to the game? And, well, firstly, leading up to the game, what did you do differently?
Yeah, no, it was my first time actually going to Darwin, which was a great experience. But yeah, it is different. You have to prepare a bit differently because of the heat and the humidity. And well, from a football perspective, I'm sure you've seen we with the balls, we got wet the balls and put some soap on them at training just to get used to the humidity because it was a sweaty pill by the second half on Saturday night. But from a health perspective, it's just you have to hydrate a lot more salt to get that water retention. And yeah, just eating a lot of food as well, just to make sure your body's got that energy because, yeah, definitely felt it in the second half. The run out, we just lost the run in the game, and Gold Coast probably were a bit more equipped for the conditions, and yeah, we're able to get on top of us, especially in the second half. So
the Cats are trying a bit of a hit and run. There is two schools of thought. One, you get up there early, you get acclimatised, and then you're going to be better off. But if you spend 3 or 4 days, and I know what it's like in that heat up there, it does drain you a bit by the time you get to game time. So maybe I'm still trying to work out, is it better to spend 3 or 4 days up there and get used to it, or is it actually better to do the hit and run?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. We went up the day before. I felt like we prepared really well, or as well as we could. I felt good going into the game. I think most of the boys did. We stayed an extra day the day after just because we couldn't fly out straight after. But I think we did it pretty well. It'll be interesting to see how the Cats go tonight.
So it got you after half time, you think, the heat?
Yeah, definitely. It was still in the first half. It wasn't easy. But just as the game went on, it just wore you down, yeah.
Would you be better off having sort of cool rooms and all that kind of stuff to be able to go off at quarter time rather than stay on, go into a room at quarter time?
Yeah, it maybe would have had a little bit of an impact, but it's still so hot that I kind of felt like you'd go to the bench, you get a bit of a rest, you'd get you'd hydrate, you'd get a water towel on you, and you'd try to cool down, and then 30 seconds you're on the field for 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, I'm gone again. But yeah, it was a good challenge and definitely enjoyed it.
Did you do the cold shower halftime complete jumper and kit change at all or not?
Dunked my head in an ice bath.
Yep.
We had these ice towels that we'd put around our necks and hydrated a lot. Got some food in, and changed my jumper as well.
Okay, so just try the complete cold shower halftime thing. I think it works better when you're out of form as well at halftime when you haven't had a kick, but that's never your case because you've always had a kick. So your diet for the week, and what is it normally? Let's talk some nutrition. What is it normally, and what is it after a Darwin game?
Yeah, so in general, I like to eat according to a whole food diet, I like to call it. So it's not really eating any preservatives, and it's probably a little bit different to what sports dietitians recommend because they like getting quick carbs in before. And so I just like eating really clean, really simple. So for protein, I'll have steak, fish, a lot of eggs, chicken, and keep it pretty simple in terms of sauce or anything. I cook mainly with olive oil and a bit of salt and pepper. And then carbohydrates, keeping it pretty simple as well, like pumpkin, sweet potato, normal potato, a bit of rice, and then a lot of fruit is my diet, rather than a lot of pasta or other carbohydrates that don't really sit as well with me. And I just like keeping it really plain and simple, and then a lot of vegetables as well.
Do you ever eat bread and rice?
Occasionally. I eat rice more than I do bread and pasta. I have rice a lot before the games. That rice is my go-to, as well as potato and sweet potato. But yeah, I try to limit bread and pasta as much as I can.
How often would you eat bread?
Oh, it really depends.
Do you go weeks without it? A week without it?
Yeah, I have. It kind of depends on my training. So for carbohydrates, they're the way you get energy. So I usually eat them before and after training, straight after. But it depends what's available to me. So sometimes at the club, it's a bit harder to eat according to my diet. So I'm not too rigid with it.
So every club's got a table full of food after the game that you can go to. You can go to your snakes if you wanted to go to the lolly end of the scale. You can go to your sandwich and roll end of the scale. What do you go for?
At the club on a normal day.
No, after you've played, straight after you walk
straight
out
after
of
you play, yeah.
you walk off the game. There's a table full of
Yeah.
a smorgasbord.
Yeah, so I try and have a protein shake straight after. Protein's really good for recovery straight after a game, and then try and get some carbohydrates in just to replenish that energy as well. So whether that be fruit or some rice, and yeah, definitely a lot of protein.
But you normally try to get your carbs through something
whole
that's clean.
foods. Yeah. Rather than, I don't ever have like the snakes, or the only time I have it is an energy gel. I have one energy gel before the game.
Alcohol?
Nah, never.
Never?
Never, nah. Try to limit refined sugar and alcohol as much as possible, but yeah, I'm not a big drinker at all.
Is that in season? You don't have a drink from game one to last game, or do you have occasional one drink? Or
No, my plan this year is to not really drink at all from the start to the end of the season. Even in the off season, I barely touched it. I just don't really enjoy it, to be honest, too much, and it's obviously not good for your body and recovery, and care a lot about my performance. So I definitely don't not touch it because it's good for social aspect, and yeah.
So if you go to a function and someone says, "Let's all toast someone champagne-wise," you're not crazy to the stage you wouldn't have a sip, or are you to that length?
I probably am, to be honest. I wouldn't see the point in just having a sip for the sake of it. Yeah, I kind of pick and choose. So if I am going to have a drink, I'll probably enjoy it with friends, but it's on the rare occasion.
Yep. So when you came back from Darwin, was there something special that you did this week as opposed to the normal week, or not specifically, only fluid?
No, nothing too different really. Food-wise was pretty much the same. Probably ate a little bit more prior to the game because of the requirements for energy perspective. But it was mainly through hydration, yeah.
So your thoughts on a couple of things that are happening this week? You've got a couple of guys that played for you playing against you. So how was it explained to you at the time that Todd Goldstein left? How did the club break that news to you? Did you know it was coming? Was it almost no surprise at all? How did that unfold?
I wouldn't say it was too much of a surprise. It was kind of speculated for a while. But yeah, he was such a legend of the club and did so much for North Melbourne. So it was pretty sad. Some of the boys knew Goldie so well. He's an unbelievable clubman, and he loved North Melbourne as well. So I'm sure he would have been a bit sad leaving. But yeah, we actually were finished by then. So the club sent out an email for him and Ben Mackay as well, just letting everyone in the club know that they've chosen to leave, and just thank them for what they've done.
So you and Ben were fairly close. How did that get explained to you that Ben was leaving?
Yeah, so same way, they sent an email, but Ben obviously had a bit of a different decision to make with his free agency, and he'd been weighing it up for a while, and it was a pretty tough choice. He had a lot of options and a lot of people to speak to. So yeah, I was pretty close with Ben, and still am.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting playing him this week. But he called me up and let me know his decision before it came out to the media, and yeah, I thought that was really good of him.
How big was the damn factor when you found out you were going to lose a guy that's a pretty good player?
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was damn. It was a bit disappointing because I knew how special of a player he was, and how rare that type of player is. And we've obviously missed him this year. But I kind of respected the decision and understood the process he went through, and it was kind of just like good luck, rather than worrying about what it meant for us.
So how did you run the decision through in your mind then to respect it? What, because he'd been at the club so long, given his heart and soul, but he just wanted to go and get wins, and he kind of ran out of patience with North. How did you reconcile it in your mind that it was okay?
Yeah, well, he constantly spoke to me about the decision. There were a few factors. He wasn't. Money wasn't a factor for him. I think it was more the environment, the stability, which I think North Melbourne are in a great position. He obviously maybe didn't. He obviously been there for longer than me, and he maybe had kind of wanted a new experience somewhere else. I think Essendon suited him really well according to his values and what he wanted to do for the rest of his career. So I respected that. Would have loved him to stay, but hopefully we can get the flag before them.
Yeah, you don't want to lose any more players, but would the same process in your mind play out? Oh, well, he's given his heart and soul. He wants to go somewhere else. Needs a change if Cam Zurhaar left, or is that different?
I wouldn't say it's different, but I'd love them all to stay. Like I would have loved Ben Mackay to stay, and I am disappointed that he left because he's a great player, and similar to Zerha, like they're going to be important players for us, hopefully, as we climb the ladder. And same with LDU. Like I'd love those guys to stay. They're really important players in our team, and they're going to help us go forward.
You this week, so the last 2 weeks you haven't played any time in defence. So you have changed. The change that I felt that you wanted, but you didn't admit it, has come. You're not a defender anymore. You're a forward mid or a mid forward. So have you enjoyed footy more? You're getting the ball less, but it seems like your impact is better.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say my impact is much better at the moment. I probably haven't had the scores and shots on goal or score involvements just yet, but I've definitely enjoyed the switch. I think for me, long term, I think that might be the role best suited to me. And I understand I might not be lighting it up with disposals at the moment, but I always knew that was going to happen. And I'm okay with that. I don't really care about the disposals anymore. I want to learn the role. It's a very different role to half back, and I kind of expected a little bit of a dip maybe in output, but I'm learning a lot. And I was actually pretty happy with. And the coaches were pretty happy with how I went on the weekend and fell away in the second half. But I think I'm improving, and I think it's the right role for me at the moment. But we'll see what happens this week.
So looking at the champion data numbers, you've had the same amount of score involvements as a mid and a forward as you did when you were a defender. So you're involved in starting the chain a lot, and your score involvements as a defender were exactly the same as now. But it seems like you believe this is the right evolution for you. You're better off having a 25 possession game and trying having more impact with 25 than having your 35 in defence.
I think so, and I think it might not happen right now, the increase in score involvements, but if long term that's where I'm going to play, I'm going to have to need to learn it at some stage, and there's no better way of doing that than actually playing there.
And in saying all that, you're better suited now, and you're doing what you want now. Is there a chance with Colby McKercher out this week that you get sent back again because you need that? You need another delivery man in defence, and you'd be the one they'd call on.
But that's the thing. I think that's the positive, like, to have the flexibility now to go anywhere on the ground depending on who's in and out. So, this week I might be going back. I'm not too sure. We have a day off today, so I haven't spoken to anyone at the club. But I'll be more than happy to go play halfback this week if that's the case. So I think that's a positive.
Some bigger picture, bigger world items now to get to you with Harry. Firstly, you still live at home, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Don't mind me raising that?
No, that's all good.
Okay, because there is this sort of sibling rivalry that happens in most households where the older kid tends to get the good bedroom and the younger kid doesn't get as good a bedroom. Is that?
Yeah, that's exactly what's gone down. But my sister's moving out soon, so I get the upgrade, I think.
So you move into hers?
Yeah, I think that's the
What
plan.
about when she wants to come home over night time? She might want to just come home and spend the night with mum and dad and you've got the room.
Oh, she can have my old room, I guess.
And you'll have your new mattress in your new room, won't you?
Yeah, the new Temper mattress. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. You're getting delivery of that thanks to Temper this week. Holding the ball. Do you think players get too long, too little? When you're the tackler, do you believe sometimes, surely he's blown the whistle by now? And when you're the guy that gets the ball, you think to yourself, surely they should give me more of the time than they've given me this time.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for sure. I don't mind them waiting a bit longer when the player actually has the ball in his hands and is able to possess of it. So like a 360 is maybe because you want to give a player time to get out of a tackle. Like people practice, we as a club, we practice a lot fighting through tackles and different methods and about getting your arms free and releasing it and then giving the ball on your terms. And it's a big part of the game now. It's a real skill. So I think giving players enough time to do that is a positive, but I think the ones where they the ball is stripped and the ball actually drops, I think that maybe hasn't been paid as well as it should have.
So you're with, I don't know if you heard Scott Pendlebury earlier this week on SEN, but you're kind of with Scott that even if you haven't had prior opportunity, so you get it in an instant and then you try to get rid of it in an instant and you throw it away, it misses your boot, you're happy with that to be holding the ball?
Yeah, I think if you don't possess of it, definitely should be holding the ball.
So the AFL could make that change. So incorrect disposal is incorrect disposal whether you've had prior opportunity or not.
Yeah, I agree with that one, yeah.
Which is an interesting one because it seems like more and more players in the modern game are coming out thinking exactly the same thing. So do you think that would be if they polled the players, it would be widely thought that should be a better upgrade to the holding the ball rule?
I think so, but it's just, like I said, it might be a bit hard because umpires might be waiting to see if you do get rid of the ball and then it might take too long because like what I said before, I like giving opportunity to get rid of it, but yeah, I think if they don't dispose of it correctly, 100% should be holding the ball.
And Ray Chamberlain said this week that he thinks around about 360 as a turn is enough. Do you think that would be fair? If you've had 360, a full spin as an opportunity to get rid of it and you still haven't, then you shouldn't get 2 spins to get rid of it?
Yeah, I think more than 360 is probably a bit too much. But like I said before, I like being given the opportunity to be able to fight through a tackle, assess where your teammates are, and then give it out. But I think if you're stripped of the ball, should be definitely holding the ball.
And do you think interchange rotations, would you like to get rid of this? Do you think having no sub rule would be better for footy?
Yeah, I'm not too sure with this one. I agree to an extent, but I disagree as well because there's a tactical side to it as well. So like on the weekend, Gold Coast used their sub really well. Like Bailey Humphrey came on in the last quarter in Darwin and played in the midfield and just had so much run in his legs and tore us apart really. Had like 12 touches and a lot of meters gained. And so there's a tactical side to it that has worked for certain teams. But yeah, it's hard because there's some situations like a team makes their sub and then someone gets injured straight away, which is a bit unfair. So yeah, I'm a bit on the fence with that one.
And you're doing anything special for Sir Doug Nicholls round at all at North? Is there some sort of process that the club goes through in the lead up to this is your second Sir Doug Nicholls round?
Yeah. So yes, 2 days ago the club presented our Indigenous jersey for this year, and the designer Emma Bamblett came in and spoke about the design, which was really special. And she did that last year as well, so it's good to get some consistency with the jumper and hear the story. And she's related it to some of the players in our team, which was awesome to see. And yeah, it's a massive round and means a lot to players, and we love playing in it.
Harry, great to have you in. We'll look forward to having a chat to you in a fortnight, and I look forward to being at your game on the weekend.
Sounds good. Hopefully get the win.